Hi Kelly, this one is just a really quick tutorial just for you, so we'll make this one private on YouTube. Right, cutting stuff out. Seeing as you're still not telling me how you're doing it, I'll give you a very quick tip on a fairly accurate way of doing it. Right, you need to make sure that your layers and your paths palette are showing to start with. So that's here, Windows, Layers, and Windows Paths. So just click on those, and this will show you here. Right. I pull this picture in. I'm going to make a copy layer so you can see what's going on. I just do a Command J on the Mac, Control J on the PC. What I'm going to do it makes it easier so you can see where we've cut out. I'm just going to turn that background off. And what I'm going to do now is come down here. I'm going to select the pen tool. This one just here. Select that, and you need to make sure you have these settings as I've got them shown here. So you need the paths one clicked. You want the pen tool clicked. You don't want the freeform. Just have the pen tool clicked. Auto add delete, and you can play around with these ones. There's add and remove from selection. Essentially you'll see how that works in a moment, I guess. So right, what I'm going to do is zoom right in on this picture. You can see we're at 25%. I'm going to zoom right on in. I'm going to come down this end to show you, and I'm going to go right up to around about, let's see, what do we need? Let's have a look. Probably around about 400, maybe 500%. Let's stay with 400%, something like that. So if I start down here, and I'll start up here just so you get the idea. What you do is you simply position the nib of the pen. Let's go here, for example, and then you can just walk your way around by doing a left click, 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 click. If you make a mistake, you can do Alt Control Z and undo what you've done, so you haven't lost anything there. And you just slowly but surely walk your way around. Okay, I'm doing a pretty poor job here, but we could go in a bit closer if we like to make sure we do a bit of that. Just undo a couple of those bits there. Then we can see we can actually get this accurate to within a pixel. Now, one of the clever things here is you'll see there's a big old curve sitting in here. So what I can do is I can, let's say, click. Well, let's go all adventuresome. Let's click here. Put a line straight across. I can now do another left click right in the middle of that line, just there. And on the Mac I hold the Command key, which I guess on the PC will be the Control key. So press the Control key and do a left click and hold, and then just move your mouse over and you will get a nice curve. So that, just drop that on the point there. I'm going to zoom in a little bit so you can see we've got a curve point here. I was going to grab the Command click, or sort of Control click in your case, put it where I want it. But you can see this isn't quite in place, so I'm just going to drop another left click right on that line. That forms another one, and then do another Control click and push it out, and you can slowly start to build up a really nice, what's called a vector curve. So it's not pixelated. This is a proper vector curve you're going to cut out here. And then when you get around here again, then if you want, you can then just carry on doing this kind of thing around here. To make a pretty appalling job of this tonight. And you can just click around here. When you get there, you want to zoom again right on in here to make sure you're right within pixels worth of accuracy. And what you'll need to see is if you've got a blue background, like this looks bluish, it's not actually supposed to be white, you want to make sure you've trimmed off any residue. So come right in here and just trim off the little tiny bits of residue of that background. And that's why you're seeing some bits and pieces on some of your backgrounds, is because they're getting a little bit of residue left into them. What I'm going to do is just, in the interest of speed, I'm going to show you what happens when we finish this up. So I'm just going to make a box around here. And when you get back to the first point, you'll see a little circle will appear. You can see that? It appears near the dib. When you're that means you're on the last point, one left click, and that will then just drop into what we call a vector path. Now this is where the clever bit comes. If you come over here to your paths palette, click on that. With this selected, you simply come down to this icon here, and it's load path as selection. So click on that, and that then loads up as a selection. You can then simply do Command or Control X on the PC to delete it, and you'll see that's now disappeared. And if you zoom in, you'll see that that's we're at 500% there, and you'll see that's not a bad representation of the curve. So it's not all jaggy or anything like that. Now the beauty of this is you've now got that path saved, so you can actually get back to it. So if I did a command, not very relevant here, I guess, but if I go up to here, turn this one off. Okay, I've messed that up completely. If I turn this background layer on, there we go. I can now get back to the paths. I can select that work path again, and I can just switch it on, and I've got it back again. So you don't need to keep remaking that path. However, what I want, one word of warning on this, if you now grab the pen tool and carry on, it will overwrite this path unless you have it selected or you've created a new one. My advice is to create a new one for the next step. Just click on here, and now this current path will be the one that you work on in here. So now, for example, if we want to work on the new path, we can get right in this bit in here, for example, and we can start to it's fairly straight. We can start to work away in here by using a similar technique. So we just click in there, control click to push that out, click here again, control click, and we'll just push that out. This is fairly crude, I guess, what I'm doing here. It's not taking much care. You probably want to take a little bit more care to make sure you've actually just sliced off the bits you want. The secret here is not to try and take too much at a time. Just try and get it. You can move this around as well, by the way, so you can just push it around to where you want. These little handles on the end you can grab with a left click and you can bend them around. I'd be really careful playing with those because you end up with a curve you can't control if you're not too careful. So I'm going to undo what I just did there because I've messed that up myself. So let's put that back into there. So I want to finish this up so you can see what's going on. Again, not taking a great deal of care of it. Oops. And with the same control click, you can grab the endpoint. You've got the endpoint in the wrong place as well. There we go. Let's hit that one there and just snuggle that one in. Just come around very crudely, hit that point. Now we've got a new path. This one here. If I then click in the paths palette, you'll see if I've got this new path, path 1 selected. Click on that, select it, do the Command X, and I've cut that out as well. Okay, it looks a bit jaggedy, but if you realise I'm at 500%, when you come out, that works a treat, and that should work quite well for you. I'm sure there's something else I was going to say, but for the life of me, I can't remember what it was. I hope that works okay for you. Give it a go, and we can talk about it later. Cheers.